Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord finally decided that horses and dry land aren't enough because War Sails has arrived, an official single-player DLC. This time, Tailworlds looked at the ocean, looked at the northern frontier, looked at a bunch of longships in their offices probably labeled someday, and said, yeah, today's the day. So the big question is simple: is War Sails actually worth playing? So let's get into what War Sails actually is. You're looking at naval warfare, a completely expanded northern frontier, and a full new Nord faction that feels like it rode straight out of a saga. Not just a reskin, not just some lightly sprinkled lore. These Nords arrive with their own culture, their own unit structure, their own regional identity, and an entire piece of map that finally feels like it belongs. Up until now, that northern border of Calradia felt like someone roughed into terrain and forgot to finish the job. Now it's cliffs, fjords, icy forests, and people who seem to treat rowing as a lifestyle. You can recruit them, fight them, trade with them, or go full Viking and join their ranks. Their shield infantry, their boarding specialists, that whole aesthetic of tattoos, braids, and beard styles that look like they could shelter small woodland creatures, it all fits together in a way that gives the North an actual identity. The world finally feels like it has a reason to pull you upward instead of leaving the region untouched until late game boredom kicks in. But the part everyone has been waiting for is the naval gameplay, because yes, Bannerlord finally has ships. Actual ships. Ships that move, react to wind, accelerate, slow down, and don't just glide across the water like floating rectangles. War Sails introduces real momentum and weight, so smaller longships dart around quickly while the massive warships feel heavy and deliberate, turning like someone tried steering a moose through a swamp. You're not just holding forward and pretending you're sailing. You're adjusting angles, catching wind, dealing with turning circles, and actually paying attention to your positioning. It's not going full Sea of Thieves, but it's definitely more than Bannerlord slapping a boat under you and saying, "Good luck, sailor." The real chaos hits when two ships get close. Multi-point boarding turns fights into wild deck brawls where troops pour across planks, arrows whistle through the rigging, and shields smash against each other on a rocking wooden floor. You can ram enemy ships straight on and let physics take the wheel. You can order archers to shred enemy sails or break their oars and leave them flailing helplessly. And what's cool is how naturally Bannerlord's classic combat fits on a moving ship. Anyone who's been in a dense infantry fight knows how messy things get on flat ground. Now imagine all of it while your character is slipping around on a deck, waves smashing the hull, and fire occasionally breaking out because someone got a little too eager with flaming arrows. It's chaotic in the way Bannerlord battles should be. There's also a whole tactical identity here. You can run a fleet of smaller raiders and swarm bigger ships, or build a chunkier artillery platform with siege weapons strapped to the deck. Or maybe you just sit back, load up on archers, and turn your ship into a floating porcupine launcher. The only thing that could hold this back is naval AI. Everyone knows pathfinding has always been Bannerlord's side quest of pain, and water pathfinding is notoriously difficult. If fleets start spinning in circles like confused ducks, it'll definitely hurt immersion. But the concepts shown so far look like the most ambitious mechanical shift Bannerlord has had since launch, and it feels like the game finally decided horses shouldn't be the only form of meaningful transportation. Coastal sieges also get a major upgrade. You're no longer forced to march across the sand with a battering ram like it's your daily cardio. Now you can besiege towns from the sea, blockade ports, choke supplies, and starve entire coastal settlements into submission. If someone ignores their coastline for too long, they might wake up to find their most profitable cities suddenly collapsing economically while an enemy fleet lounges outside their harbor like it's a vacation spot. It's a massive strategic change because controlling the ocean now means controlling trade, controlling prosperity, and controlling who gets to eat. Ignore naval power and you'll end up with half your kingdom starving while the Nords cheerfully row circles around your misery. Building your fleet is also a full progression path. War Sails doesn't hand you a free dinghy with a smile. Instead, you craft your navy ship by ship, upgrading, customizing, and slowly growing from a landlocked nobody into the kind of sea captain who makes coastal towns nervous. There are 18 ship types, each with its own stats, playstyle, and feel. Longships are fast raiders. Heavy warships turn slowly but hit like anger packaged in wood. Ship customization lets you reinforce hulls, improve sails, add siege engines, or boost cargo if you're into trading instead of raiding. Coastal shipyards offer different vessels based on their culture and level, and yes, you can capture enemy ships and immediately claim them as your own. It feels like Bannerlord's usual progression, but soaked in saltwater and ambition. War Sails also dips into Bannerlord's RPG side with new naval-focused skills, allowing your captain and crew to gradually stop sailing like confused beginners. New mariner troops are built specifically for sea combat, better balance, better boarding, better survival in the chaos. New companions with maritime backgrounds join the roster too, adding flavor and practical bonuses. And to keep you from drowning in mechanics immediately, the DLC includes a guided starter questline that introduces naval gameplay through a pirate hunting storyline. It's structured enough to teach without overwhelming, something Bannerlord hasn't always been great at. Naval pathfinding especially is a make or break element. If fleets can't behave, then all the ambition in the world won't save the experience. And with new medieval sandbox games trying to break into the scene, Bannerlord doesn't have the uncontested dominance it used to. War Sails can't afford to stumble. So, is War Sails worth playing based on demo? The short answer is that it's big, bold, and easily the most meaningful expansion Bannerlord has ever had. It brings new systems that genuinely reshape the sandbox, a faction with personality, and mechanics that change how you think about the map. It finally pushes Bannerlord into a space it should have explored years ago, but it also has something to prove. This DLC isn't just about ships, it's about whether Bannerlord can evolve into a game that doesn't need its modding community to fill every gap. If the AI holds up and the systems blend cleanly into the campaign, War Sails might just be the DLC that pushes Bannerlord into a stronger future. If not, well, at least the longships look great while you sink.